Fast forward even more. And we end up with another big name in medicine. Not so much now, but he was like the only voice for medicine for over 1,000 years. And this was Galen. Okay. I believe he was a Greek citizen living in Rome. And he loved dissecting things. Said he dissected an animal a day without fail. Okay. Always dissecting things, but they wouldn't let him dissect a person. Okay.
I know part of this story.
Do you know his workaround?
I believe it had to do with gladiators.
It absolutely did. So the Greeks were a little bit hesitant to let anyone dissect a human being. Because of course they were. Right? If you're at a funeral and one of the guests are like, let's cut him up and see what it looks like inside. You don't invite that person anymore. Okay, that is some messed up stuff. And so, yeah, generally there was a societal taboo on dissecting human beings, of course. And the Greeks were hesitant. The Romans were restrictive, right? You don't do that. That's gross. Who invited you? Get out of here. And so he gets himself a job as a physician of sorts for gladiators.
Okay.
For the purpose of getting a little peek inside. Okay. Right? When they would get cut or bashed open, he'd take it. Oh yeah, let me fix that for you. Right? And so he writes all this down and becomes the source, right? He is the medical expert. And it isn't until, over 1,000 years later that people ever start to doubt him. And by the way, they were right to doubt. These diagrams that he'd made up, and don't get me wrong, he had pushed it forward a lot, right? He had pushed the science forward a significant amount, but they believed him almost too much, right? It got to the point where you actually had doctors, when you did get to people who would cut open bodies, the English, they were oddly fine with it.
Okay.
Get to the point where you have doctors saying, Galen said this, here is an actual dead body. Do you see that they are different? And people would still say, no, Galen's the authority. Well, there must be something wrong with that body and every other body you've cut open.
I'm going to trust Galen over the guy who is showing me a corpse.
Right?
He is. No, trust me. I am a professional because I cut open this human being.
Yeah. Anyway, turns out over 200 of the drawings that Galen had put in were from animals. Right?
Oh.
He had done the best he could, but they only let him dissect animals. And again, he was dissecting an animal a day, just doing his homework over the years.
Because I was going to ask how, given we don't have that, you can only see so much through a open gushing wound, but didn't we have animals? Pigs, for example, are very close anatomically to people. Why didn't we have a better idea of what's going on in a person based on what's going on in an animal?
Because in medicine, it really does come down to little differences. Galen really did have the right shapes, or I would say mostly the right shapes and mostly the right spots. But how much do you want your doctor to say he's mostly sure about where most of your organs are, right? There are issues with exactness in medicine. Now, real quick, I do want to talk about what Galen thought about the brain. Okay. Because it is fun. But then we'll move on. So Galen went back the other way, right? Aristotle had gone to the heart. Galen comes back up to the head as being the Center for Intelligence, specifically the ventricles. Okay?
The ventricles?
Yes. Oversimplified, these are bags of fluid that help keep the brain cushioned.
Okay.
So these are airbags filled with water. Or fluid, anyways. And so Galen sees this. He sees that the brain pushes on them and decides the brain is a pump.
A pump?
A pump. It pushes on these ventricles and squishes out this intelligence goo through those nerves, the nervous system, to the organs. And helps direct them.
Once again, kind of the right direction.
Yeah, right direction. Yeah, he put all the intelligence in the essentially the
In
cushioning
the
fluid.
bags of goo
Yes.
around the brain.
Yes, but the mushy brain itself, that was just a pump to help push out the intelligence goo into the body.
Okay.
So, and like I said, he was believed so hard. And yeah, it got to the point where, even when people could prove that things were one way, as long as tradition or Galen said it this other way. Now, let me talk real quick. One of the reasons why it was believed so hard is because it got the backing of the Catholics.
Oh boy.
Okay.
And we're back to politics.
We're back to
somehow.
politics, right? This whole brain versus heart thing was also a doctrinal matter. And so
Because of the soul.
because of the soul, right? The soul, anybody who described what was going on as purely a physical thing, those were generally put down because we know that the soul is immortal. So
Right.
we needed an explanation that had the soul being something more than just fluids.
Goo.
More than just goo. It has to be more than goo. And so we actually went more towards some of these, humors and souls and things like that. Mostly because, it fit with the doctrine at the time. And so, these things, a lot of times they didn't change because to go against the accepted medical doctrine was to go against the theological doctrine. Right? How dare you say that I don't need to balance my blood? You must be a heretic who, I don't know, kills puppies or something.
Or, cuts open dead bodies.
Or cuts open dead bodies,
pokes
right?
around inside.
Those are also weirdos.